Senator Josh Hawley joins us. So, Senator Hawley, we were up working late last night expecting on the Judiciary Committee, I guess, to set a date on Thursday for Ed Martin, but it looks like Senator Tillis at least come forward and said he can't do it. He can't get there because of January 6th. Can you just give folks a overview of what's happening over there, sir?
What? Yeah, sure. It's great to be with you, by the way. Thanks always for having me.
Thanks.
I think the situation is this. You've got a number of Republicans who don't want to vote on Ed Martin. And this is the president's nominee, obviously, to be the U.S. Attorney in the District of Columbia. I just want to say I've known Ed for years. He's a Missouri guy. So I've known him and his family for years and years and years. I obviously support him. I look forward to voting on him. And I hope we can get to a vote, Steve. I mean, my view is that if we vote on him, he will pass. He will pass in the committee. I believe he will pass on the floor of the Senate. And you know as well as I do, getting a strong U.S. attorney in the district is vital. The district is a cesspool. It is a crime wave every single day. Ed knows how to clean that up. And really, I think we're seeing more opposition to the president's pick. I mean, this is no senator nominated Ed Martin. This is the president's pick. And that's my message to my colleagues. Let's vote on him. Let's pass him.
You know, Ed was the wingman for Phyllis Schlafly, one of the true greats in our country in the conservative movement and as an American. I mean, what she did is monumental. Ed was there, worked with him for years. Senator Hawley, I think this is what has our audience confused because we had guys from Heritage on yesterday. All day we were on this Ed Martin thing. The president, this is not. There's so much going on. We understand that, but the president comes out yesterday, put a true social. He worked the phones. He talked to Tillis for hours. This is something that is vital, important. Like the two U.S. attorneys that matter right now are Southern District of New York and D.C. Yeah. Given that the president's all in on this, the White House is all in on this. People that are big supporters of the president, like Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri, are all in on this. How can we have, just even showing the Democrats of the nation that we're not united, how can that happen?
Well, and this is why I think we are going to get to a vote and he is going to pass. I just don't see how he doesn't, to be honest with you, Steve, because the president, and you mentioned this last night, the president made it crystal clear publicly that Ed Martin is top priority for him because the District of Columbia being safe is top priority. I mean, right now, you know this as well as I do. You cannot go out on the streets in the district and not fear for your life. I've got staffers in my office literally who've been shot. I've got constituents when they visit D.C., they say, is it safe for us? And I have to tell them, honestly, I don't know that it really is. This is our nation's capital. It ought to be the cleanest. It ought to be the safest. It ought to be the best place to visit in our country because it represents what our country is about. And our own citizens can't come here without fear of their lives. It's ridiculous. We need a U.S. attorney who's going to go after the crime and clean up the city, especially in front of our 250 celebration next year. Ed is the right guy to do that. He's the president's choice. And I would just say to my fellow Republicans on the committee, and listen, I'm not saying anything to you. I haven't said to them privately, personally, give this guy a shot. Meet with him. Talk to him about what he's going to do in the office. Talk to the president. I think when that happens, he is going to pass the committee. I just don't see how he doesn't.
Senator, let's go to other issues because it seems like you understand the president's agenda to focus on working class and middle class folks and to make sure that we try to have an economic path where they can, have a shot and have a level playing field. I notice, I want to talk about this new bill. You're working on a bunch of stuff up there that hits to the heart of what populism, what economic nationalism is. It's what the president talks about all the time. But I notice a lot of times you're having to partner with Democrats. Tell us about this, about going after big pharma in this new bill, but I see this over and over and over again. And the question our audience has is, what's the problem with the other Republicans that the president has put his shoulder to the wheel to get them in? Senator Hawley.
You know, we need more Republican populists in the United States Senate. We need more Republican populists in Congress. We need them to support things like my new prescription drug bill. Here's what it does, Steve. It caps the price of prescription drugs in the United States of America, period. Here's how it caps it. It says that what these big pharma companies charge overseas in Europe and in Canada, whatever that price is, that's what they ought to be charging Americans. Right now in my home state of Missouri, we are getting charged 2 and 3 and sometimes 4 times as much for the same drugs that Big Pharma is selling in France and Italy and Canada and wherever else. It is ridiculous. We are paying in the United States of America, we are paying for everybody else's drugs worldwide. Big Pharma knows it. They are lining their pockets with our taxpayers' dollars. It is outrageous. So what we ought to do is what the president proposed. By the way, Steve, this is the president's idea. He proposed this in his first term. We ought to write it into law. No more ripoffs from Big Pharma. But to your point, my co-sponsor is a Democrat, Peter Welch, great guy. I'm delighted to partner with him on this. Man, I'd love to have some Republicans. You know, I mean, where are the Republicans? We need them to stand up for the president's working class agenda.
Is it because there's too much Big Pharma lobby money? I mean, what's the reason? Because it's the president's idea. You've put it into a bill. It makes total sense. People support it. They love it. But you can't get co-sponsorship from Republicans. Why is that?
I think two things. Number one is the money. Yeah, Big Pharma has enormous amounts of money. And let's just be honest, Big Pharma has bankrolled so many of these political action committees. They're dark money. You talk about the dark money kings. Big Pharma on the Republican side is probably the king of dark money, and they have poured it into the coffers of Republicans, including Republican leaders. So that's a huge, huge problem. And some of it, Steve, is ideological. I mean, it's sad to say, but much of the party among elected leaders in Congress is still trapped in the past. They're still trapped in this idea that whatever big business wants, big business should get. And somehow that's what we're about as Republicans. That's not what we're about as Republicans. We're about working people. We're about working families. We're about making this nation the greatest it can be and putting Americans first. That doesn't mean multinational corporations first. And we got to make that switch. It's got to be America first, not big business first. If big business wants to do something good for America, terrific. We're for that. But right now, Pharma is gouging Americans. They're putting America last. They're putting their profits first. We got to do something about that.
You were the first, really, on the Republican side, one of the first to warn us about big tech and the problems of big tech. President Trump, I mean, and the Democrats talk about the oligarchs. President Trump in this district in Northern Virginia federal courts, it's amazing. Going after Facebook, it has them on trial now. The FTC, the great Andrew Ferguson, the FTC, the Justice Department has, under Gail Slater, they've got them in Northern Virginia. I think for the ad thing, and then for search in D.C. they're trying to break up Google. You've got they just came out and they're trying to find Apple. They're actually, the Trump administration is going after the oligarchs like Teddy Roosevelt. I mean, it's pretty amazing. Why is there not more guys like you up in the Senate that are cheering this on and saying, hey, this is exactly what we ought to be doing? Because all of these oligarchs, they may be with us right now for a minute, but they're all progressive Democrats, Senator Hawley.
100% progressive Democrats, woke corporations. You know, we heard all this talk about woke corporations a couple of years ago from Republicans. You want to know how to deal with them? This is how you deal with them. What Trump is doing is how you deal with them. What Teddy Roosevelt did is how you deal with them, because we have a choice here. It's pretty stark. Either the woke corporations, the fat cats, the multinationals, either they'll run the country or the people will run the country. It's binary. It's one or the other. You can't have both. And what we know is the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world and the Googles of the world, those guys, they want to run the country. They want to buy off the Congress. They want to control the White House. They want to write the laws. They want to run it. And either they'll do it or the people will do it. Can't have it both ways. And Trump is going after them. The way you do it is you go break them up. You go subject them to competition. You give people the right to sue them when they come and censor you, when they take away the right track here. And if Trump keeps this up, he is going to, you mentioned Roosevelt, he's going to have the opportunity, Trump is, to be remembered as one of the great antitrust presidents, probably the greatest Republican antitrust president since Theodore Roosevelt, who kicked the whole tradition off. So this is a huge moment, Steve. It's very important. And Republicans in Congress need to come in now and say, all right, we're going to do our part. We're going to give everyday Americans the right to sue these big tech corporations, which you don't have right now, by the way. Can't do it. We need to give them the right to sue, to protect your free speech rights, to protect against censorship, to protect your personal property rights. That's the next frontier.
Last thing about this, the big, beautiful bill and the spending and that cuts. I mean, you were the first guy really to come out and say, hey, look, this thing looks like it's going to be a post-July. Just what is, because we hear the House saying one thing, logically, what can people expect when we really get down to it and start fighting over the spending and start talking about the tax cuts? When do you think that really starts to heat up? Because this looks to me like it's going to go through the entire summer, and we're not going to vote on this thing until the fall, sir.
Yeah, that's my concern too, Steve. I mean, I'm hoping for July at this point. The process has been really slow. If you want my personal opinion, too slow. I mean, I think here we are in May. What have the houses gotten passed on this? Nothing. So we need to speed this process up. And here are my priorities. It's what the president said. Number one, we need to give working people who elected this president and who gave us Republican majorities, we need to give working people a tax cut. No taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime. We need to give every family in America, working people with kids, they need a tax cut for every kid they have. Let's deliver the biggest working class tax cut in American history. That'd be quite a legacy. Number two, Medicaid. We got to protect Medicaid. This idea that we're going to cut benefits for Medicaid like some Republicans want to do, this is the dumbest idea I've heard in a long, long time. Our voters, many of them are working folks who can't otherwise afford health care because of what the Democrats did to health care in this country. They depend on Medicaid, them and their kids. The idea that we would take that away from our people is insane. So we got to protect Medicaid benefits for folks. We got to give them a tax cut. We got to cut back on the woke spending, the Green New Deal spending. That's the ticket.
How did your constituents in Missouri, when they hear that, what do they think?
Well, when they hear the possibility of a tax cut, what the president ran on, they say yes. I mean, heck, Missouri voted for Donald Trump by 18 points. When they hear some Republicans say, you know, now we'd like to cut Medicaid, we'd like to come in here and take away your benefits, they have a heart attack. They say, wait a minute. Many of them, they don't want to be on Medicaid, Steve. They have to be because they can't afford health insurance otherwise. I'm talking about working people here now, able-bodied working people in my state. Steve, 21% of Missourians, 21% are on Medicaid or CHIP. That's the piece of it for kids. And these are working folks that are like, hey, they don't have health care at their job. They can't afford it. They need Medicaid. Their kids need it. My view is you don't come in and throw those people out in the cold. That's insane. That's wrong. We ought to be giving those people more of their hard-earned money back and helping them get on their feet, get a shot, not taking away what they paid for.
Senator Hawley, how do people follow you on social media? Where do they go and particularly get your books and your writings?
You can go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, anywhere that books are sold, your local bookstore for my books, Tyranny of Big Tech, Manhood. On social media, I'm Hawley Mo, and you can follow me everywhere, Instagram, X, you name it. And it's always great to be with you, Steve. Thank you for having me.
Well, let's get to work and get some more populists. That New York Times article was amazing about you, but it's a lonely fight up there as the only true populist in the United States Senate on the Republican side. In fact, there's no populists on the Democratic side, so I guess you're the one true populist. We got to get some more guys in there, more men and women like you, sir. That's the bottom line. Not going to change till that happens.
We need some reinforcements. There's no doubt about it.
Senator Hawley, thank you, and thank you for backing the president's agenda and being full MAGA. Appreciate you, sir.
You bet. Thank you.